Hello, Wayne County High School War Eagle football fans. It's August the 1st, 2013, and around here that means it's time for some high school football. We're going to be bringing to you today the first installment of this fall season and a pregame show where we're going to be talking to Coach Mangum, the head coach of the War Eagles, along with Kenny Odom, who works with me, and Ken Roberts with the WC Web TV rebroadcast along with CMA 10 TV. We have several things we want to discuss with you today as we prepare to head into our season. This is the first time that we're going to be bringing the season with delayed broadcast on the internet. So we did this with our spring game that First State Bank helped make that possible for us. And you know, we can't do this without the help of sponsors. So I want to just take just a minute to thank some of the folks that are already committed to help us. We've got a couple more that are going to be coming on board, but as of right now, the sponsors for the 2013 season of rebroadcast for the Wayne County High School War Eagle football games on WC Web TV and CMA TV 10 are as follows. First of all, First State Bank is going to be working with us and bringing us our pregame show. Bank Corps South is going to be bringing us the halftime show, and McDonald's is going to be bringing us our post-game show. Our quarters are going to be sponsored by Fred's, Ace Cleaners, Hutto Furniture Company, Extreme Sound and More, and Alpha Insurance. So we want you to let these sponsors know how much you appreciate them making these broadcasts and these rebroadcasts of Wayne County High School War Eagle football possible. We give a big thank you from them right now, or to them right now. And we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be joined with Kenny Odom and head coach of the War Eagles, Todd Mangum, after this break. Okay, as promised, here we are. We have, we'll begin over here. We got K-Dog, Kenny Odom, be doing our color for us once again this year on our broadcast, and the man of the hour, as always, head coach of the War Eagles, Coach Todd Mangum. Coach Mangum, again, you know, we've had a show. We talked about the last time we met. We were in the superintendent's office, and we talked about the things to come. And now, for everybody that rides around town, we see that what we talked about, what was to come, it's coming. I mean, we can walk outside. We're broadcasting from the field house as it is now. And stands are up, press box is up, concession stand foundation. We just kind of want you to tell us some of the things, where we are in this process. I mean, it's August the 1st, and it's not going to be long until we're going to be kicking these things off. So let's just look at the bleachers. Where are we in the stages of completion with the bleachers themselves?
Well, actually, the bleacher structure is complete. You know, it was amazing to see those guys come in here and in a 10-day period of time start and go from literally the ground up. And they did it in 10 days. And so for all those people that went out and bought up all the lawn chairs at Walmart, Fred's, and Dollar General, you know, now you can just save them for another day.
Take them on the road.
Yeah, you're not gonna need them. Yeah. But it was, and I've been through a situation like this, and you know, people get antsy and everything, you know, but it doesn't take long. And those guys that came in here, that crew came in here and did an amazing job. So the bleacher structure itself is complete, and you know, now people are starting to buy their season tickets. And for those that have never bought season tickets, maybe because we had sold out that section, we've got more seating now in the reserve section. So, you know, and now one thing that's different is you don't have to bring in a stadium seat now. You've got a back to rest against and everything. So the bleacher structure is complete and ready to go.
I went up there the other day and tried them out, and they sit nice.
Yes.
And there's plenty of room. And
well, the great thing about it is now people can come and they can sit there and lean back. They don't have to bring a cushion if they want to sit on one. But it's nice. It looks nice. and it's going to be for the comfort of our fans now, that they can come and enjoy that. There's still work as we speak going on with the press box. They're getting it wired for technology purposes, for sound system, scoreboard, and all that, the air conditioning, the plumbing, everything there. So construction's still going on with the press box, but it's going to be complete by the first game.
I understand that there's a concession stand that's being built now. Is that going to be ready for the first game?
Yes, concession stand will now be in the end zone, and it's going to be it will be up and complete and functional by the first game. The restroom facilities are our fans will utilize the restroom facilities on the concession stand end of the field. Our visitors will use the restroom facilities over on what is now the visitor side in the old concession stand. We won't use the concession stands on either side anymore. The concession stand will be the one in the end zone, and it'll be functional for both sides. They're in the process now. We've got the foundation poured. There'll be some sidewalk and fencing that'll be coming up here shortly, and by September 6th, our first home game, it will be concession stand will be up and functional.
Okay, I want to ask you this now. Of course, we know the field house is not going to be ready. So you're thinking January or February for that?
More than likely, just talking with the contractors on a daily, weekly basis or whatever. Originally it was a 10-month project, which May 1st was the shot date right there. They were shooting for. Depending upon weather and that kind of stuff, we may be in it earlier, but we're thinking April, May. By the time school's out or whatever, we'll the field house will be complete. Here within the next, hopefully, since today is August 1st, hopefully within this month, the plumbing, all that stuff's going on now, and some other dirt work. They'll pour hopefully within this month. They're going to pour the foundation, and y'all know just like I do. Once you pour the foundation, and it starts going up, it goes up pretty quick. There are times where you see a lot of progress and then it slows down and that kind of stuff. But we're looking at April, 1st of May. And that's a good thing too, because our equipment that's going to go in there, our new weight equipment that we'll get, it's going to take time to get that stuff in, our lockers. All that stuff that's got to go inside takes a little time to do. So we're anxiously waiting for that. And this time next year when we're doing this show, we'll be doing it from the team meeting room or coaches conference room or whatever in the new field house.
Exciting times in Wayne County High School War Eagle football for sure. One more thing, logistically speaking, and is how are we going to get people in and out of the stadium? Where are we going to buy our tickets? Where are we going to come in? Where are the visitors going to come and go? Where are the home folks going to come and go?
Well, with progress comes inconvenience, and the inconvenience of our not having our all of our reserved parking area in the field house parking lot. That's because the construction company had to have a lay down area for their materials and everything. We'll have some parking spaces in the field house parking lot. We'll have the Fairview spaces. Hopefully, we will have some parking behind the home stands. That's a project that's being worked on, and that's a day-to-day thing. But with progress comes inconvenience, and there'll be some inconvenience. hopefully we're hoping that our ticket booths will be on each end of our home stands for our fans. You know, they'll buy their ticket and they'll enter, you know, from either end of the stands to go up in the bleachers. We'll still utilize the ticket booth on the far end for you know, for our visitors and home people that park down there. We'll have a temporary ticket booth here on the field house end for our visitors. Okay. Again, a little inconvenience now. Home team and visiting team is going to have to enter and exit from the same gate. So that'll be an inconvenience for us this season. But you know, it's going to work. Yeah. It's going to work. People, you know, if our fans will just be, you know, be patient and understand that with progress comes inconvenience, and we all know that. We've been through, you know, whether you're remodeling your house or building a new house or traveling down the highway and have to detour. With progress comes inconvenience, but you know, we've got to keep our eye on the prize and think about the finished product and what it's going to be like, and it's going to be so nice.
It's going to be great. Now, let's turn our attention to a little more football. Kenny, we going to get you in this thing in just a minute. Just hang with us. Don't go to sleep, because I mean, you're going to come in with a big punch here in the end.
Say that like real loud.
Let's talk about the summer. We've been through the summer. We had the spring game. You moved into summer. What have you tried to do with your team through the summer from a training standpoint? Let's talk about what you did training-wise. We talk about some of the camps and some of the combines and what's been going on in that respect.
Okay. You know, basically our workouts have been Monday, Tuesday, Thursday during the summers in the mornings. One thing that was really, really great for our players during the month of June, we had a summer program here where we got them here at 7 o'clock, fed them breakfast, and came over here and worked out. And it was really great. It was really great. Our guys would come in, eat breakfast, come work out, and then go outside during the month of June. We basically stayed on that schedule during the summer. We come in and you know, get started around 7:30 with our workouts. We come in, get a weight workout, then we go outside and do you know, just football stuff. Receivers throwing and catching, you know, just working on football stuff, drills and things, and then you know, do conditioning stuff during the summer also. And you know, usually we get those guys and they're out of here by about 10 o'clock in the morning. So you know, summer workouts have gone good. We've had our linemen attended line camp up at East Mississippi, our offensive and defensive linemen. Had some linebackers that attended camp over at West Alabama. We've had guys that have attended some individual camps and everything on their own, you know, and we've had some to go and do some at either on campus or at other places, some combine stuff. So we've had guys that kind of, you know, been going around and doing things all summer long as far as, you know, camps and combines and that stuff. So it's been a productive summer for us, and you know, that's always important because you know, football now is not just a August to November or December sport. It's year round, and all of our sports here, you know, are like that. And if you look at successful programs in the state, everybody's working. You know, they're working. I don't care if it's you know, South Panola, Olive Branch, Madison Central, Gulfport, wherever. You know, Picayune, Pascagoula, West Point. You know, all those programs right there. Those people are working right now, and you've got to do that. And you know, what we're trying to do in the summer is continue building our football team. coming out of spring practice there, and had a good showing in the spring, and our guys really did a great job in the off season from January to May. And then we come in the summer and work in our weight training and our conditioning things in the summer is a little bit different than in the winter. Basically in the winter we're trying to build, really get as strong as we can, get as big as we can, and then when we come in the summer, we start with that same mindset, but we quickly transition to more of the endurance part of lifting. Instead of doing as much heavy weight, we're doing more reps and trying to work on the endurance and the conditioning part of it. So our guys have done a really good job with it, and really proud of them, and our coaches that come up here and are here and coaching and doing it every day.
I want to say this, and what little bit I know about the way the workings of the school district and contract terms and things like this, what a lot of people don't realize is, I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that, depending on what you do as an employee of the Wayne County School District, you have days. And coaching staff, these coaching staffs, your coaching staff works way beyond days.
Yes.
I mean, so you got to understand that this is a labor of love and commitment, and you got guys up here working when they're not on the clock.
Right. And it's because our coaches have a passion for what we do. Yeah. And, the only time, I guess, really you could say that coaches have time off is, hopefully during Thanksgiving holidays we're coaching, but, Christmas holiday and spring break, and Good Friday. Because in the summertime, now our coaches and our coaches do, take some time in the summer and everything, and I tell them, you do that because family comes first, before football, and and we'll take time, but we don't all just shut it down. Our guys, we work together on that and everything, that we always got what we need here, and but we also do spend some time, have some quality time in the summer, but for the most part we're here.
It's amazing, and I tell you, I've noticed that, and as a fan, it just makes me feel good. It makes me, to see you guys going that extra mile, and the kids see that too. And like I say, you said when you came in here in that Commons that night, what we're going to do is we're going to work hard and win. And if you don't, the coaches don't do it, then how can you expect your kids to do it? But we appreciate what you and your staff do. I know I do, and the community does as well. Okay. Well, it's fixing to be football season, and we got a jamboree coming up. We got practice. We got jamboree. So let's discuss the practice schedule to start with. So y'all going to start next Monday.
Monday. We start Monday. Our coaches will be, because teachers report on Monday also, so we'll be, tied up with at our different schools, and we will start Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll practice at 4 o'clock, and then Thursday school starts, so we'll be right in the routine on Thursday. But our practice times will be at 4 o'clock on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then once we get into routine, come Thursday when school starts, it'll be just like a regular day, regular school year. And then we'll have once we get into school during our 4th block time, we'll have weights and film study and that kind of stuff, and then shortly after that, then we'll get started every day.
Tell us about the jamboree. I guess I read in the paper, the Wayne County News, about there was you were trying to figure out just exactly how you were going to approach this deal with the jamboree, and then 2 weeks before the first game. So the first time probably we're really going to get to measure ourselves as outside competition. Competition is going to be over at Pedal at a jamboree. Tell us about that. When, who, the layout.
On August the 16th, which we start on August the 5th, and on the 16th we're competing against somebody else. But we'll be going against Brandon, the defending 6A runner-up in 6A last year. Petal will play Pearl, and what this is, MHSAA allows us now to have they call it a preseason jamboree. Basically, you get to play 2 quarters, 2 12-minute quarters, just like a regular game. And then we'll have some JV also in that. Don't allow you to do any more than that. So, we will play Brandon for 2 quarters with our varsity, and then our JV will play them for 2 quarters also. But it'll be a varsity half, a JV half against Brandon.
What time will that take place?
It will, tentatively right now we're at 6 o'clock on August the 16th. And our stuff's going to happen first. We're going to play our varsity. Our varsity guys will go out there first and play their half, and our JV guys, our JV guys will be on one end of the field. Petal Pearl will be on the other end of the field. So we'll kind of do the JV at the same time during that. But it'll be, we'll kick off and punt and do the whole 9 yards, but it's only for a half. So we'll kind of see. Last year we went up to Quitman and did it, and it's a time where you get to practice against somebody else, and it's not necessarily a win-lose thing because you're only playing for a half. But it's a time where you can go out and compete against somebody else.
Well, you're going to get a good measure because, like
no
I said,
doubt
they're the
about
defending
it.
South 6A state champions, and they got a bunch back, and they are supposed to be loaded.
Yeah,
So it'll be a good time.
Really, really, really good. And the thing about that, I guess why we chose to do that against Brandon and against stiff competition was because the opening Friday night for everybody is August 23rd, which is the following Friday night. We're not opening up then. We're opening up on the 29th, which is 2 weeks after that, opening up on a Thursday at Oak Grove. So we felt like, instead of going and just doing this jamboree thing against just anybody, because we're going to have a whole week there to review and see the things that we need to work on before we get into game week. That's why we chose to go against Brandon, to go against some really, really good competition, because the first part, the middle, the end, our whole schedule's tough.
Yeah.
So why not go and be tested tough early in this jamboree?
Okay. I've looked at this is last year, right here. We've talked about it last year, and I look at this, and I see how we did statistically. Thanks to Paul King, statistically speaking. There's a lot of excitement here about this year and about the team you're going to put on the field. And rightfully so, I do believe. Realistically, when you look at these stats, there's a lot going. If you look at the offensive output, we scored 31 points a game, gave up 17 points a game last year. If you look at Greg Miller, Jarvis Chambers, and Jace Gardner, there's 60% of your scoring is gone.
Right.
And so you've got a big shoes to fill there. You've got rushing touchdowns. There were 31 rushing touchdowns last year. 21 of those rushing touchdowns, they're gone. You look at tackles. Kentrell Mayfield, Keenan Fuqua, Hunter Wadley. There's 135 tackles, 89 tackles, 77 tackles. They're gone. Quarterback sacks. Keenan Fuqua, Gary Myers, 2 leading sacks. Gone. And it goes on and on and on. So, we look at what's gone. I mean, but you can't do that.
No.
So let's talk for a minute. We're going to get Kenny in here in a minute. We want to talk about what we got coming back. We want you to talk about that, these holes. Who's going to fill them? Who are you looking to at the different positions? And then we're going to talk about your expectations and your strengths and weaknesses. And we're going to get Kenny. We're going to kind of get a coach's view and a band's view of what we're looking at. But let's talk about how we're going to who you got in mind gonna fill these holes? That's a lot of holes.
Well, start offensively, you know, losing Greg Miller, like I said, you know, scored 70-something points last year.
Yeah, 74
points last year. You know, our running backs this year, you know, we got Dallas Sims coming back. We've got Elijah Pugh coming back. You know, guys that got playing time last year, valuable playing time last year. And DJ got, you know, a little bit more playing time because of Greg's, you know, injuries from time to time. So, you know, he was able to get some quality snaps in there. And, you know, a lot of times DJ would get us down the field and maybe Greg went in and got the last, you know, the last yard or whatever we needed to score. You know, we lose Jarvis, and you think about what Jarvis did for us offensively last year, and he played 4.5 games.
He was, by my calculations, through 4.5 games, even on the season, he still had 42% of your total yards.
Yeah. So, but, you know, on the flip side of that now, you know, we got, you know, David Odom coming back at quarterback, and, you know, you really don't look at David as being a new starter because he started over half the season at quarterback, you know, and at the end he, you know, was battling some injuries himself. But you know, we've got our quarterback back. We've got a running back or a couple of running backs with experience back. Yeah. You know, the thing offensively, and then you look at our receivers, and DeJarvis Chambers only played about 6 games last year, and you know, we're going to have him back, and so, you know, offensively, if you look at our offensive skill guys, and Jace Gardner there, our kicker, gone, but you know, Brandon McCrary, who's came in the spring, handled our PAT and field goals and everything, he's coming out. Did a good job for us in the spring, and in the spring game under pressure, did a good job. So, you know, it's high school football. You know, it's high school football, and you know, we don't go out and recruit, contrary to what some other programs around our state do, as far as, you know, going out and finding good players and all. We take the hand that we're dealt, and our players are. We can honestly say our players are homegrown, and so. But that all goes back to, you know, our coaches and those guys getting coached in practice, and when they get the opportunity to play, being able to go out there and play and make plays. I guess finish up offensively and talk about our offensive line. No stat there. I mean, all those offensive stats go to an individual, but those 5 guys up front are what makes those offensive stats what they are. And the big loss there, we lost 4 of the 5 starters on the offensive line. So that's where it starts offensively. It starts with those 5 guys up front. Nathan Smith will be our lone returning starter. And we've taken some guys and moved around. We've taken, you know, some guys from defense, moved to the offensive line. That group right there, when they get some playing experience, and there's some of them like, you know, Jamarcus Bruner. Jamarcus Bruner's got experience. Jamarcus was a backup last year, but he got some valuable playing time.
Washington.
Jamarcus Bruner.
Okay.
Shoshan Washington.
That's the one I said.
You know, Shoshan got some valuable playing time last year also. So it's not like they had never started or played in a game, but Jamarcus and Shoshan have experience.
Like the running backs.
Coming back just like those running backs. So, you know, starting with those guys up front right there, when they gel, because the thing about that unit is it all starts right there, you know, and you know, when we run the ball, you know, being able to create running lanes, when we throw the ball, being able to protect our quarterback and everything. So that group right there offensively is the key to our success.
One of the things that excites me, is if we look at the spring game, Odom wasn't sacked in that spring game. Mm-hmm. And the running game, so looks like they're off to a good start. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But I'm glad I didn't realize we lost so many.
Yeah, and then all right, on the other side of the ball now, some of those people that you named, that are gone defensively. But that's one thing, we did this before when I was here. I know that Kelly and Marvin continued doing it, and then we're doing it now. On defense, we try to play as many people as we can, and we're not going to sacrifice quality for quantity. We may have a lot of people that play defense, but we're going to put quality people on the field, and we were able to do that, especially up front. This time last year, we were sitting here, and the whole front seven were going to be new. I'm talking about new, brand new. And now, it's going to be some of the names and numbers that people hear, for us defensively are going to be some of the names and numbers they heard last fall. Maybe not as a starter, but as a player on defense, and especially up front, because again, it all starts up front. And with Jaquan White, Ronald Ollie, Tyree Evans, Benito Jones, Larry Carter, Mike Sims, those are guys right there that are going to be in the mix at playing up front, and which is a good thing, because now, especially against some of these teams that's going to really throw the ball, those guys right there are rushing the passer every play. So as long as we can play with more people, it's going to be the same offensive line over there, but it's going to be a different guy rushing the passer, about every third or fourth play of the game. It's going to be somebody new who's going to be coming in there to be able to put pressure on an offense. At linebacker, Trayvon Lofton, Quentin Hogan, Hayden Shelby, Jamal Poe, those were names and numbers that people heard last year, but not necessarily as a starter in every game. And then we have some quality guys, some young guys coming in to back them up, and Denzel Bonner, Dre Gandy, Hunter James, Dakota Krager, Tyler Hopkins. Those are guys that are going to come along that you're going to hear a name and number, and then all of a sudden you look up and one day they're a starter too. So in our front seven is where we probably have more experience depth right now. But just like our offensive line, in our secondary is where we probably have the least experience right now. Keyshawn Cooley is going to return, and he got some snaps, in the secondary last year, and from time to time was a starter. But for the most part, our secondary will be new, and those are guys that we really got to have pressure on the quarterback up front to take pressure off those guys, to put pressure on the quarterback when he throws the football, put him in a little duress.
I heard somebody say one time that the best pass defense was a good pass rush.
Exactly, and we're hoping that we can get that pass rush, and that these guys, will get some experience or be able to get in the fire, but instead of that ball going over their head, they're knocking it down or picking it off, and we're hoping to do that. That's why, we've done 7-on-7s this summer and everything against ourselves, against other teams, but there's nothing like lining up against Friday night and that ball coming, spinning out of a new quarterback's hands and everything, and a lot of times that's what I tell them about in 7-on-7. Our guys will get frustrated, and I said, but just think about this. When it's for real, we get to rush that guy. So, we want to try to put as much pressure on it, and our guys are picking up what we want to do and everything. we're going to try to do some things to help them grow up, but they got to grow up in a hurry.
I hear an expectation already. We're going to get to that. Now, we're going to change that. We're going to let you catch your breath right now. Kenny, you still with us over here, buddy?
Glad to get back.
You've heard Coach talk about, what's coming back, and listen to him. So let's talk. I want you to address a couple of things. First of all, what do you expect out of the Wayne County High School War Eagle football team this fall? What do you expect?
To win at least one of the first two.
I hear you.
We've not done that in a couple of years. It's a little disconcerting to the average fan when you open up 0-2. Of course, we've had some pretty good runs after that, though. Last year certainly was no exception because we made that run deep. But, I'm expecting to see us win at least one of those first two. And then after that, when you look at our schedule, it's going to be tough to have that same sort of run, I think. And I think the expectation, of course, the goal is there. So I think from a fan's perspective, when you look down that list of folks that we have to play, it's going to be tough to get to the playoffs without losing another ball game. Not that you expect to, but you just know that the odds are against you. And I think, too, the expectation of fans this year are going to involve, they're going to expect to not have our quarterback hurt and wind up in a situation like we did against Pearl River Central last year. And is that something you can prevent? No, but it's certainly an expectation. You're going to expect to be able to go into the playoffs healthy. From a realistic standpoint, with the level of competition we'll play, it's going to be hard to do because we're going to play some folks, some big guys, and they're going to be banging on each other, and running backs are going to get pounded some. So but I think the expectation, especially after last year, and this is where I think that our expectations were raised significantly last year, was just the fact that even as beat up as we were, we went a long way last year, and I think there was not a fan that I've talked to since the Pearl River Central game last year that didn't think that if we had just had Odom 3 quarters healthy, that ball game would not have been close. And I think too that the expectation this year is there's going to be at least 2 ball games circled on the calendar. One is West Young, but I think the next game that's circled is going to be Pearl River Central. We're 0-2 with that bunch, and I think our fans' expectation this year is going to be to lay the wood to them, Wayne County style, and hopefully we'll get to see that this year.
We've got a pretty strong non-district schedule. We start the district off with Natchez. They've dropped down for the first time in 5A that I can think of, and I tell you, that's probably could be a dark horse in this whole thing. They could bring a really, really strong. Well, we got to go over there, and that's going to be a tough football game to start the district.
Well, you got 2 pretty good road trips there back to back, and with Gulfport and Natchez. And when you look at trying to get through that first set of Murderers Row there, you got you got Oak Grove, Equipment, Hattiesburg, and Gulfport. That's going to tell you a lot about your football team. And again, our expectation, I think, as fans are at least win 50% of them. And I think I think it's entirely doable with the bunch we've got coming back.
It's not really fair to ask Coach that, I don't suppose. No, but you do have expectations.
Well, you look at that, and we open up with Oak Grove. And Oak Grove is a member of, to me, from the outside looking in, the toughest 6A region in the state. Yeah. When you've got
top to bottom.
When you've got Brandon and Oak Grove and Petal and Meridian that are all in that same division, and take away Hattiesburg, who was in that division, now they've moved down in Region 4 now. That's stiff competition, and then Quitman being a longtime rival of back in the days of Waynesboro Central and Quitman, and then even Wayne County. When I was here before, we were able to play Quitman, going to be a very, very tough game. And then, like I said, Hattiesburg was the team that Brandon beat to go to Jackson in the state championship. So Hattiesburg played in the South State Championship last year.
I lost track of that.
And then Gulfport, to me, Gulfport has got to be the favorite in Region 4, 6A. From talking with coaches down there and from coaching down there in that division for 5 years, they've got a good group coming, so they're going to be the favorite to win, in my opinion, Region 4, 6A. So, those first 4 games are big time testers. And then, as Kenny said, and as you said too, Marshall, we open up division play with a team that comes from that Region 3, 6A. People tend to don't need to forget that Natchez hung 55 on Meridian last year. They beat Oak Grove. They beat Oak Grove 41-40 to knock Oak Grove out of the playoffs last year.
They turned that district upside down.
Yeah, they did. And they've played the Brandons and the Pebbles and all those people in that region. So they're not going to be intimidated, scared, or anything else when they drop down and play, in my opinion, in the toughest 5A region in the state, Region 3, 5A. So, they're going to be a really, really good football team. And then, we come back after that and host Brookhaven, who's got a good nucleus of players coming back. They were hit by graduation also. They'll start a new quarterback. They lost a Division I signee on defense, but they, to me, returned one of the most exciting players in our division and a receiver who may see action at quarterback. And they're always a team that's going to really, really get after it in Brookhaven. And then, Pearl River Central comes into our division now, and as Kenny said, last 2 years, we're 0-2 against them. We come out here and play a really good football game last year, and we come up short. We did. We were not able to finish. It is what it is. But now, they're in our region now, and then you come off that and you play Laurel.
Oh man.
Who Laurel now comes up to 5A from 4A, and probably skill-wise, you won't see another team in our division that has any more skilled players than they do. And they're all young. I mean, their players are sophomores and juniors, and a very, very talented bunch. And then you come off playing Laurel, who's been a big game for us in the past, and you play West Jones. And then you finish up the season with, South Jones. So I rate our schedule, I rate our region as being kind of like the SEC West. It's every week it's tough, it's challenging each and every week.
What I'm hearing you to expect is a lot of hard fought, clawing, fighting, having to stay on in your mind and physically sharp every week. That's what you got to expect.
We've got to. I mean, it's kind of like Kenny alluded to when we were 0-2 last year. We came in and yes, we were 0-2, and there was nothing we could do about it. That's what it was. And our goal became then to win one game a week, to go out and have a fight every Friday night, and that's what it was, and that's what we've got to do now. Yes, ultimately our ultimate goal is to play the first weekend in Jackson in December. That's our ultimate goal, but our goal daily has to be to get better as a player and get better as a team. But we've got to go out and prepare ourselves each week for every Friday night to be a fast and physical football game, and no matter who the opponent is. I'm talking about, there's nobody on our schedule right there that you say doesn't have a chance. Everybody there has a chance, and everybody there is fighting for the same thing, and we just want to hope that we're going to try to carry our fight each and every week on Friday night to win that fight, and that's what it's going to be each and every week.
As I've heard Paul King say time and time again, it's going to be very interesting.
Yes, definitely.
Kenny, let's talk for a minute here now. We kind of get our idea on our expectations. Let's talk. We're going to talk strength and weaknesses. Let's address your side. What's your view of? We looked at Wayne County War Eagles this year. Where do you think the weaknesses might be going in? I mean, what do you think?
I think probably one of the biggest weaknesses would be the offensive line, and until they get some time together under the lights, again, the coach says it's different practice than it is on Friday night. But these guys have all played, but they're going to need some time to learn to work together and to sort of to learn how each other thinks as a unit. And that's always big. I mean, that's one of the reasons generally the offense is slower to come along than defense. Even though defensively they have assignments, guys are pretty much going to football. But offensively, it's just so critical that, that everybody's seeing the same thing, and that everybody knows what the checkoffs are or what they're supposed to do if they change their alignment. And that's probably going to be a weak spot, at least for some time. Now, the potential there for those guys that Todd talked about a while ago is the upside's huge, because those guys have got, and I think that's another advantage for us all the way around, is the fact that we have a good ninth grade program and a good JV program, is those guys just don't pop up and all of a sudden burst into playing on Friday night. They get some time to play. The other thing is going to be the inexperience in the secondary. That's going to hurt you. Now, I don't care who you are, until those guys get some experience and get burned, and folks throw stuff out of the stands at them because they think they're stupid. But they have to learn. I mean, and the best way to learn is get burned. And but our guys have always been so good to catch on. And again, and to those guys defensively, that's probably going to be another weakness in that. Like Todd said, they've all got playing time, but not necessarily starters. So depending on how those guys mesh together, and it'll take the coaching staff some time to find out which guys are meshing together the best. And when you sub, they're going to base their substitution patterns a lot of times on, we need these three guys in there at the same time because they play well together. And then we need when we sub, we're going to sub another set of three guys that play well together. And so, again, that's, if you want to call it a weakness, that's going to be a weakness. Now, time will cure that as we get into the season. And of course, the other thing is, I think is the biggest unknown is that we've seen Odom play, and he's played well at quarterback. And is he going to be as consistent as he was last year? Is he going to be able to stay healthy? Yeah, that's not necessarily a weakness, but that's an unknown. Yeah. And if he does go out, will DeJarvis step up and play, or you've got another guy in the wings back there that's going to play. And we in the last several years have not had a lot of depth at the quarterback position. We've had some guys to play it, but we haven't had that consistency of being able to go from one guy and not really step down that far. Usually it's been here with one guy and here with the other, and not necessarily talent, but a lot of times it's playing experience, because they may be years apart. So that's going to be a weakness for it. And when you look at the guys, the teams that we play, those teams invariably will have depth sometimes at those skill positions that we don't have. And so again, that falls back to you guys that you just got to play harder. It's like Coach Mangum saying, you just got to fight, and you can fight your way through that.
Well, in talking about that, we have two guys behind David that we really feel, really confident about. Reggie Stewart, when people saw Reggie in the spring and what he was able to do, he can spin it. Take Dion. Dion came in and played the Stone County game last year when David was out. So, we have some guys there that have been in a fire, you know. But, you know, Kenny's right on that at having depth at quarterback. You know, you look at these teams in the NFL and you know, they sign guys to big-time contracts to be backups. And because, you know, if you can't ever go in there and just have one, you know, because if you do, it's going to come back to bite you. And we were just so lucky last year to be able to have David, and then had Dion, and then going into this fall having Reggie and Dion to be able to come in there and run our offense. I mean, we're not going to have to change anything when they play, you know. But it does, and you know, it's like we talked about before, and Kenny hit on the areas of weakness. The thing about the offensive line and the secondary, the thing about those two units is everything that they do together. And, you know, our offensive line, it's a unit that must work together. And our secondary is a unit that works together, you know, and not to, you know, our receivers, our running backs, you know, our D-line, our linebackers, yeah, all those guys work together too, but there is a mesh between the offensive line and the secondary. And it's kind of like people always say, you know, if you have trouble in those areas, somebody's band's going to play. And, you know, if we're good on the offensive line, our band's going to be playing a lot. If we're not real good in the secondary, we don't play good in the secondary, our opponent's band is going to play a lot. But those are two areas that must work together, and that is so scrutinized in a football game. You know,
block somebody.
Yeah, block somebody. When the quarterback gets sacked, or when you don't gain a yard, you know, there's 5 guys up there. You know, there's not a one of our offensive linemen that wants our quarterback to get sacked. You know, and we want our backs to gain 100 yards a game. Just like in the secondary, you know, when that ball is in the air, you know, sometimes if a 6'3" receiver and a 5'8" corner is going against each other and the ball's thrown up, come on now, we know who may win that battle, but if that free safety's getting over the top and doing what he's supposed to, we got some help on that receiver. So, you know, those two units are probably the most amplified and magnified groups on a football team. It really is.
That's pretty good. I've never seen it quite that way.
That's why a lot of times you'll find out, you go look around at the colleges in America, at the universities, and see who, besides the coordinators, who the next 2 highest paid coaches are. It's the offensive line coach and the secondary coach. You know,
that's why you see colleges recruit so many kids to play corner. Safety, they won't recruit as many safeties as they will corners. And they may recruit 3 safeties, they're going to find 5 corners. Because finding those guys to play the secondary together, as Coach Mangum said, it's just tough. And it takes a couple of special guys to stick on those outside, because most often they're on an island by themselves.
On an island. Okay. Covered a lot of ground. We'll wind this thing down here in just a minute. We're going to turn our attention to, we've had expectations, we've looked at some weaknesses. What do you think the strength of this football team is going to be?
First of all, the coaching staff. You're not going to find a better group of coaches anywhere in the state of Mississippi, top to bottom. They know how to motivate players, and they know how to teach players what to do. Second thing I think is going to be the tradition of winning. I think that's always going to give you an advantage, no matter who you are. You may not play as well some years as you do others, But, you know, we've got now what you can, I think, comfortably say, look back and say, going back to 2000 and 2001, 2 and 3, is that we now have a tradition of what being a winning football team. That's big. And then the third thing, I think, is the quality of our kids. They don't spend a lot of time chasing kids down to get them here. Most of these kids come when they can. If they can't, they are providentially hindered in some form or fashion, and they work hard. And we may not always have the most talented group of kids, and I thought last year we had a lot of talent, not as much as we've had in the past, but I don't know that we've ever had a group of hard-working kids in that group we had last year. They work hard, and it showed from the third game on down through. So I think those are probably the biggest three things about our guys that give us that advantage. Then again, the other thing that you look at is attitude. And our kids have a good attitude. And if you take those first three and you put that attitude with it, then you can win some football games. And you can beat some folks that you really ought not to beat. But you're going to do it because you've got that combination of things.
Coach, let's look at you straight. That's a real good view there. And
I do, and I have to hit on everything that Kenny said. He was on point. You know, we have continuity in our staff. Even though we're going to have some new faces at different positions, we are better today, August 1st, than we were August 1st last year. Simply because now we spent in the spring and summer last year putting in an offense. Even though it was very, very similar to what they had done, it was different guys coaching over there. Defensively, it was some of the same stuff, but it was different guys doing it. And the continuity in our staff, and you know, I every time I have an opportunity to talk about our staff, you know, I do, because you know, it's we. It's always we. You know, what we have to do, and there's nobody has an agenda. It's not, you know, offense and defense. It's team, and our players know that, and our coaches preach that, you know, each and every day, and having that continuity, it was the biggest thing for us. You know, going into the spring. Coming out of the spring into the summer, it's just the continuity, you know, of our staff. Now our players are hearing the same thing from the same people, and our coaches knowing our players, you know, better. You know, even though I was here before, you know, some of our other coaches that came in, you know, now I know about our players even more because I've been with them now. You know, and our other coaches have been with them, and you know, that's a big thing. And then, you know, just like Kenny said, you know, our players, you know, our players feed off our fans, and we're to the point now where, you know, we're coaching guys now that maybe I coached a brother or an uncle or whatever before, and that's coming down, and that tradition that was started, you know, back in 2000, 2001, and it's carried on. And we have a tradition now. When people talk about high school football in the state of Mississippi, you know, there are certain schools that are always mentioned, and we are one of those schools. I mean, we are, and tradition means a lot. Pride means a lot. And our players are proud to be a Warrior, you know, and our fans are so passionate in supporting our players and everything, and when you have that stuff working together with attitude and hard work, it's hard. You know, I've coached at places before. Similar to what we are here as far as tradition. And then I've coached at places before that was building tradition, and maybe had tradition, but it it had been dimmed. And so, you know, coming into a place like this to have the coaching staff that we do, the players that we have, you know, that believe in what we're doing. You know, our guys, you know, on offense, they know that if we need a yard, they know what we can do. They know how we can get that 1 yard. When we need a stop on defense, those guys know what we can do to make that stop, and they believe in it. And it all goes back to, you know, that effort of coaches and players meshing together, and it's a really, really great thing. I tell you, it's to me, coaching is one of the finest arts of teaching there is. It really is. And to see our coaches as teachers on the field, you know, there are a lot of great teachers in the classroom that can, you know, get up and express their point and teach a subject area, but to watch our coaches on the field and teaching the little things, you know, because we always say that little things make big things and big things win championships. But it's those little things that make the big things. Just like tell our players every day, if you get better as an individual player, we get better as a team. And ultimately that's what it is. It is the ultimate prize is to be, you know, be a successful team.
Amen. We are blessed here in Wayne County with a great coaching staff, a great community, great kids that are committed to doing what they know that they need to do to be successful on that football field and in life. I believe coming into this year that we can win every game on our schedule. If we lose one, I believe we can win the next one. I believe we can win them all. Don't know that we will, but I sure hope so. A lot to be excited about here. Everything happening here is positive. Wayne County High School football is a great tradition, as the coach has mentioned, and it is vibrant and is growing and is positive right now as it has ever been. We're excited about Wayne County High School Warrior football, and we know that you are too. So we're going to look forward to seeing you at the jamboree. We're going to look forward to seeing you at Oak Grove for the first game of the season, and every Friday night thereafter to come out and to support your Wayne County High School War Eagles as they march toward Jackson 2013. Appreciate you. We'll see you in Oak Grove.